get derailed.
The tape playing at the Wolf River Country Co-op shows everyone the story. A story Nolan Stelzner is familiar with. You see, Nolan was one of the few who actually witnessed the wreck.
When I looked out here by the crossing, I see it derailed and cars flying all around. One went up, probably high as light poles into the feed mill. When it hit in the feed mill, that's when it blew up. That's why I said, I'm the H out of here.
Unfortunately, for the folks of Weyauwega, they all had to leave. Many, like Dennis Peterson, moving to area hotels for the next 3 weeks.
Your mind starts playing games with you, and then you're your own worst enemy. And I think it's just human nature to expect the worst. And that's what it does to you, and it'll work a number on you.
It was a time filled with unknowns. Unknowns about pets, unknowns about possessions left behind. But it was also a time when the old adage about postal carriers proved true.
Yeah, that seems to be the thing today. It's happy anniversary.
After being closed for just 24 hours, the Weyauwega Post Office reopened, this time in Fremont.
Putting 2 post offices into one building, it got a little tight.
But it also worked. And Postmaster Larry Hendricks says it offered folks at least some semblance of normalcy.
Got people their mail. I guess, you know, that was their one link with reality, because most of them were living in hotels or with neighbors.
When the okay was finally given for residents to move back, some nightmares proved true.
It was really a stressful period of time.
Take the owner of Modern Barbers.
All the pipes were broken in here. I had water coming from the upstairs down, the water heater, the toilets were cracked. We had water all over. It was tough.
But possibly one bright spot, the community spirit that evolved, and the support for each other.
I really wouldn't wish this on anybody. It could have been a lot worse disaster. I think somebody up above is really with us, and I hope to God it never happens again.
It's a familiar sound to folks in Weyauwega once again, the whistle of freight cars passing through town. About 18 Wisconsin Central trains chug by every day. Weyauwega is on one of Wisconsin Central's main lines. Running through dozens of eastern and northern Wisconsin communities, the cars transport everything from pulp to clay. But ever since the Weyauwega derailment 1 year ago, state and federal railroad officials have been digging deeper into the company's safety practices. According to the State Railroad Commission, last year there were 68 accidents involving Wisconsin Central trains, nearly half of all railroad accidents in the state. 2 people were killed, 25 injured.
It's evident that they have not spent the time on details on safety and investment in rail and track and structures that they should.
Are you a safe company?
Absolutely, we're a safe company.
But last month, the Federal Railroad Administration did what every rail company fears. 24 inspectors descended upon Wisconsin Central, scanning their equipment with a fine-tooth comb. In the end, several hundred cars and locomotives were pulled off the tracks for repairs.
We acknowledge that we can improve.
Since the inspections, the company says they've set aside $65 million for equipment improvements. They say part of their problem is the dilapidated tracks and cars they bought from the Soo Line nearly a decade ago.
We have made tremendous strides, though. I mean, some of these tracks were little more than streaks of rust when we acquired them, and today they're busy main lines. And that's been the difference between having rail service in the northern part of the state and not having it.
But while railroad officials contend Wisconsin Central is essential to northeastern Wisconsin's economy, they say it's just moving too fast.
They've gone from 4 to 6 trains a day when they took over from the Soo Line at 20 to 25 miles an hour. They're now running 20 to 24 trains a day at 30 to 50 miles an hour. They're just bulging at their capacity.
Two of the tanker cars that derailed in Weyauwega were carrying gas from the Helron propane company based here in Green Bay.
Well, it made industry take a look at things, but something like that is such an uncontrolled situation that really everything on the rail car served its purpose. All the safety valves worked properly.
The company handles about 7 million gallons of propane every year. Lubinsky says drivers undergo special hazmat training in case of an accident. Still, the Department of Transportation could implement new safety laws to prevent future accidents like the one at Weyauwega. One would require drivers transporting propane to area residents to be at arm's reach of an automatic shutoff valve.
That's to make it real difficult for your residential people because, or when we fill residential people, because we have to drag out a hose 50, 75, or 100 feet away from the truck. And yet they're telling us we have to be within an arm length of shutting that truck off.
Young and old Weyauwega residents and their neighbors gathered to remember the day many say changed their lives forever.
There's probably not anyone here, whether you were evacuated or not, that doesn't remember vividly exactly where you were at this time last year.
Many say they remember the uncertainty of this night last year, not knowing when or if they'd ever return home.
The memory was pretty sad at the time, but after the 18 days when we came back, everything was okay.
No one was hurt, and there were some homes that have been damaged quite a bit, but they're getting fixed and everybody's back in their own place.
For that, each had someone to be thankful for.
The biggest thing for me was that we were safe and that we were with people that we loved. We had a wonderful host family.
To thank God for everybody being okay.
We need to lift up in thanksgiving the service organizations like the Red Cross and the Salvation Army, the law enforcement groups, the National Guard, the fire, and the EMT departments. So many people.
And all those who showed them what this Wisconsin community is all about.
The family, the friends that you can count on when you need to, that they're always there for you when you need them.